This is why you don't get paid. So I want you to come with me up 100,000 feet. Here, you can do some work on the business now. We tend to wear 4 different masks. And the thing is that when we're in the business and we're working in our businesses, is these masks tend to keep you pinned, tend to keep you stuck. So I'll go through them and I'll see if you can recognize yourselves or any of the things that you're doing in any of these particular masks. So the first one is the technician. So, technician, you never have time to work on the business because you're buried in it. Burnout lives in this one. You love your craft, you care deeply about your business, you care about your clients. It's never been the problem. Problem is, you can't scale it. Who feels like that sometimes? The rescuer. You constantly step in, fix your team's problems, or you constantly step in and help out your client. The rescuer. Rescuer's on WhatsApp at 8 o'clock at night, answering messages. You're exhausted, you have very high standards, you want excellence. Problem is, you become a bottleneck. Anybody feel like that sometimes? The trader. You're undercharged to stay busy. You run offers because it feels safe, right? Services are worth more, but you're afraid people won't pay. You care about accessibility and want to help, but you can't keep saving everyone at your own expense. This is why you don't get paid. This is you, right? The martyr. The final one, my favorite one. You've accepted the chaos. It's all fucked up. It's on fire. You believe that success comes from suffering. That was me. You think you're the only one who can handle it. You're committed. You've sacrificed everything to build this. But it doesn't have to cost you everything. I was well in this. Who feels like that? Who feels like all 4 of them at various different times, right? And that's the truth right there, is they're interchangeable. You bounce from one to the other. These aren't meant to be your identity now. These were the things that you did to get your business up and running. You have to evolve. Problem is, when we stay like that, when we stay technically focused, when we stay rescuing our customers, when we stay trading discounts because we're not charging enough, and we feel trapped in the business because we are working really hard, but you're not getting the reward from it. What's the reward? To do that, you may have to have a bit of an identity shift. Maybe wear one mask, or maybe don't wear any mask. The mask to wear is leadership. Get yourself aligned and lead the business, lead yourselves, lead your customers. The opportunity is there, and it's there for people who are willing to actually take a big step forward and go, do you know what? No, I'm done with all of this. This is what we're doing. Who would like to know how to do this? Yes, come on, get some energy, man. Some enthusiasm. Right, number 1, have a clear goal. Exactly. The picture of Chris Hemsworth has absolutely nothing to do with this presentation at all. I just know my audience, and if you put a half-naked picture of Chris Hemsworth on there, people start paying attention to you. Who's got a clear goal? Who believes they have a clear goal? Be bold, brave, show me your hands. Great. Goals, I think, they come in different forms. You've got time, energy, and money. Those are the 3 resources that you have available to you at any one time. That's it, nothing more. If you've got lots of money, great. If you've got lots of time, great. If you've got lots of energy, great. Problem is, that's not often how it works. When I start working with a client, what often happens is it's either cash poor or time poor. It's generally what the problem is. If you haven't got enough energy, you're not doing all of this. So the trick is to balance all of this. And that's where you find that alignment, the balance between having enough money to do what you need to do, which gives you the time to actually enjoy the benefits of running a business, which is holidays, cars, life. That's the whole point of all of this. And energy. And if you've got the energy you can replenish. Where I came unstuck is I traded money for my energy. That's what happened. It was great, but what came out of it was everything that I saved, I ended up spending because I couldn't work for 18 months. Literally could not work. So what was the point of all of that? Balance. So when you're thinking about your goals, what is it you really want more of? If you were really honest with yourselves, what do you want more of? Time. It's the only one they're not making any more of. So your work, your goal, you generate the money, use your energy to generate the money, to get your time, until you can balance it all. Make sense? Cool. So, GR, have a roadmap. A goal without a plan is just a dream. While I was in my sabbatical, I studied a lot around multi-generational marketing. If you take the population of the UK and break it up, you can break it up into generations. So you've got baby boomers. You heard baby boomers. Generally, born after the post-war. They paid £3.50 for a house. They've got the best pensions. And this is no disrespect intended. This is just facts, right? Just facts. You've got the millennials, which are the younger children of baby boomers. Noisy, annoying siblings, as I call them. My kids are Gen Z spends all our money. You've got Gen Alpha, which are way too young to be of any use at all. And you've got 7%, which is kind of the war generation, right? Now, Gen X, which is my generation, which anyone who's roughly between 40 and 60 right now, let's say, 45, 65, is Gen X. Legends. Absolute legends, right? We are forgotten. But 20% of our population, 7 million women, roughly, 7 million men. Now, interesting thing about Gen X is at that age, we have some very unique challenges. Aging parents, right? Who's still got family or kids in school? So you've got this responsibility, you're working, your pension pop, it's not going to be like a boomer's, right? Mortgages, everything's more expensive. So how much longer are Gen X going to have to be in the workplace for? Again, it's just a fact, right? So we're going to have to work longer. My birthday barbecue yesterday, and I was talking to Emma, who's 50, and she said that to me. And that, for me, nails it. That's the direction of travel for the next 10 years. Now, how can you take advantage of this? Really, really process. People, problem, pain, passion, product, profit. People. Do you know who your target market is? Do you know the problem that they have? What is the main problem that Gen X has? Menopause. It's they're going to go through that journey. That's the main problem. Pain. Is it impacting their lives? Yeah, of course it is. Passion. Do you guys actually give a shit about that? Yeah, you should do. So you care about it. Perfect, right? Can you create a product or solution to help them? Yeah? Is there any money in it? Hell yes. Because Gen X are wedged up. So that's what we need to nail down. Now, how you lose money is you don't do that. What I often see a mistake that's made is get really, really about something. Yeah, it's great. But they don't do any background work. Don't identify who your target market is. Don't actually clearly identify what the problem is. What's the problem you're solving? If you're not solving a problem, no one's going to buy anything. Does it actually have a pain point? Yeah, I've got people, there's a problem. Do they care? Me, being bald, I'm totally happy with it. Hair transplants, going to bounce off me because I don't care. Passion, yes, really interested about this. Got a product, there's no money in it. What's that? A hobby. It's a hobby, sorry, it's not a business, it's a hobby. You can't make money off hobbies. So, we're business people, right? We're leaders. So, you've got your roadmap, opportunity. You're going to have to become experts in designing processes. This is the difference between businesses that do and businesses that do not. It's process. I hate to be boring about it. But you've got processes in your business, right? You've got a sales and marketing process. You've got a client onboarding process. You've got a follow-up process. But you've got to put processes in place to retain your customers. When you think about the processes that you've got, how effective are they? And the easiest way to look at that is where are the problems that you see in the business. So who tracks the number of leads that they get? Okay.
I do now, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's difficult. It's not a difficult thing to do because a lot of them come from different places. So if I ask a different question, who knows where their leads come from? Okay, cool. That's the start of a process, your lead generation process. Who knows what their conversion rate is from a lead to an appointment or a consultation? Okay. So the answer is no to these. You've got gaps in your processes. So who knows what the conversion rate is from their appointments to actually having a treatment? Okay. Who knows what the average sale value is? Okay. Cool. Who knows what their retention rate is? Right. So these aren't to embarrass. These are just these are processes, right? And these are business. If you want to do decent money in businesses, energy, time, money, you want to make decent money, it's process driven. Because that's where the opportunity is. For every process you don't have, it's a gap for a client to fall through. So you can dump as much money into ads as you want, but if those processes aren't there to support it, you're just wasting money. And I see that all the time. But it's fine, you know, right? These are all fixable and they don't take that long. You just need to understand what process to fix and then fix it. Okay, no way. Any Mandalorian fans in here? You have to communicate what's in here to someone else through the medium of video, audio, interactive content, or what? Dance. Yes. Interpretive dance. I can't do. If you could do that, yeah, I'll see that. You have to communicate it, right? Your vision and values. Has anybody done any work really understanding what their vision and values are? What do you stand for? So your vision and values. This is what I stand for. Your behaviours have to back it up. Because what happens if you don't really live your behaviours? It's false, right? And people can see it a mile away. And Gen X are like, they've got bullshit sniffers you wouldn't believe. You know, raised, right, with if it's too good to be true, it is. So your beliefs, your behaviour, and your vision and values have to align. And the other thing that does is when you do that, it makes life much easier for you because you're not having to wear a mask. You're just being yourself. And that plays into this. So and this is leadership. So when you start communicating this way, you actually start to attract customers to you. And the next part is around it is, well, how do you do that? And it's content. And I know, been in this, you know, you guys are often enough to know how challenging people find this. And I get it, right? I really understand. But it's one of the things you're going to have to try and step through because you cannot abdicate this. You can delegate it, but abdication is what I'm seeing. And that's people going, who does social media and marketing for you? Oh, I've got this person who does it. Okay, well, what's creating? No idea. What's strategy? No idea. What's the posting schedule? No idea. So you're paying someone to do your social media marketing for you. You have no idea what they're doing. That is called abdication. Delegation is, I'm in charge of my social media marketing strategy because I know who my ideal client is. I know the problem. I know the pain point. I know what we're selling. We've got a campaign all set up and they're doing the content that I've created, editing or publishing the content I've created, right? That is delegation. Remember the difference. Visual, text, interactive or audio. Start with video if you can. Start with live video if you're feeling really punchy. Why would I be stood up here saying, do live video? What would be the benefit to you? The reason is because it demonstrates your adherence to this. If you talk about live, your vision, values, your belief, you're demonstrating things. Who here has had a client so happy with the result they've got, they've cried? All right, where can I see that bit of marketing? The most powerful story you have, you don't tell. So imagine if you did a little bit of content going, do you know what, I'm going to tell you a little story about this client. And you could use a false name and you tell it from the third person. And you explain that. Who's it going to communicate to? You just tell what happened. This is how she felt. This is what I did. This is the outcome. She cried. If you're feeling like that, drop me a line. It's more powerful than just buy my shit. But if you did it live, all of the platforms favor live content. They'll push it like 10 more than just uploading a video. So if you can do it live, I get it. It's completely vulnerable. What happens if it goes wrong? This is how wrong it went for a client of mine. So long as you don't do this, you'll be fine. Finally convinced her to go live. She had a tabletop kind of tripod like that. Sets it on. I'm like I'm being supportive, so I'm watching this live, and she's talking. It falls off the table, and you can see up her skirt. It's not only that she never did live again. We didn't really speak much either after that, which is a shame. But the thing is, you're supposed to make mistakes, right? You're not good at things the first time you do them. You get good at it the more you do it, and you get more comfortable. But in my heart, bollocks to the algorithm. Don't chase the algorithm. It's too difficult. It's too clever. It's way too clever. And remember, if a Gen X, you're still communicating to people who like tape decks, right? So don't worry too much about it. Just create the content that you think will resonate with your ideal client and just share it. And eventually, it catches up. Don't get caught in this game of chasing the algorithm. Please don't, because you won't win. And, right, this is an important one. Build. Now, one of the things I've kind of quite good at is building online communities. And the power of these is going to be the thing that I think is transformative in marketing in the next 3 to 4 years, that no one's doing it. When I mean about building tribes, what I mean is who here has a WhatsApp account for their customers, right? Now, who here has an email list? Who here has got a social media page that they post on every now and again? Right. That's not a tribe. Email list is great, But if you've got like a group where you can nurture and actually talk to people without having to fire an email because it's really formal, without having to ring them up because no one takes, Gen X, who answers the phone? No one answers. I don't know. No. Yeah, your number is hidden. I will respect your wishes for privacy and not answer it. So you need to come into it. And there are platforms out there like School, WhatsApp. WhatsApp's an easy one I'd start with. Set it up as a little WhatsApp group and invite your clients. And then tell them stuff. Give them freebies, give them information, ask them questions, engage with them. Do you think that would work? Right. So if you take one thing away from this whole talk, go and do it. But the point of it is it's not necessarily an information center. It's a community. It's an area for people to talk. And WhatsApp's one element of it. There's another group called School. You could use all sorts of different places to do it. Talking why people lie about having Ozempic treatments, right? Why do, the stigma attached to it. And what was really interesting in it was they're talking about how there are lots of little subreddit accounts. You know what? Yeah, there are lots of subreddit accounts with people sharing information, sharing tips, sharing recipes, sharing where do they stash their needles. And I'm thinking, well, they're on Reddit, they're helping each other. Imagine if you, as a leader, took ownership of it, created an environment for them to, safe space for them to communicate. It's not just about, Monjaro or anything like that. It's just about all the treatments, right? About what you do. Create a safe space for them to communicate and nurtured them. That's what tribes are. And the thing with tribes, they're powerful. So you've got people coming into, Gen X is the one with the challenges. They're having, menopausal. You've got the passion, the tools, the knowledge, the insight to help them. It sounds hypocritical having built a business on Facebook groups. I would not do another Facebook group. Facebook is a hate-filled, toxic mess. I detest that place. It's horrible. It just sells rage. Look, I'm getting angry about it now, right? It does. It just sells rage. I want to protect myself, my space, right? So there's I've got a WhatsApp group. I've got a school group, pretty much off Facebook, and using Instagram and TikTok. Things are going fine, right? So remember, you've got client bases, so you can do this now. This is also a way of nurturing your existing client base, making more money, helping them through it, or do not. But from my point of view, looking as a consultant observer on this marketplace and seeing where the opportunities are, this is what I'm seeing. And the H, harvest, make money. You're going to have to know your numbers. Again, if you think process is one part of it, this is where your money lives. This is the reward lives. So over time, evolve your processes so you know what these are. Leads, number of leads you're getting. How many of those leads convert into appointments? Conversion point 1. How many of those appointments convert into a procedure? Conversion point 2. What's the total sales you're making? What's the average sale you're making? Those are, and I hate to say it, those are basic for a business. Because if you don't know those, how the hell are you going to work those out? An easy one, right? But if you're not knowing what your average sale is, then gross profit's going to be quite a difficult one to work out. Then you don't know what your net profit is. So you have no idea how much cash you've got. So you can't actually work out how much you're going to spend to buy the assets that you need. So it starts there. And the balance is price versus experience, right? The whole thing that we've been talking about is the more that you load your business on value, less price, the more money you will make. Fact. People sell how they buy, how they sell. If you buy on price, you'll sell on price. You won't make any money because nothing says I love my clients like giving the cheapest shit you can. And it works. Big up on testimonials and stuff like that. But this one, sales says it is this process, if you follow it, it works because it takes you on a journey. And we start where you need to start. You might want to be more time. You want more money. Time is often a big one, right? Because if you're like me, you probably try and squeeze like 200 of work into a 160-hour week, and then you give yourself recriminations for not being able to do it. Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? So we prioritize, we delegate, we get rid of the shit that we don't need to do. So we get our time back so we can then create the energy to generate the money. And in that time space as well, it's time for us. Wednesday afternoon, go to the cinema. Friday afternoon, don't work. You take the time for yourselves, because if you're burning yourself, doesn't matter. Eventually you'll run out of energy. I did, and it's horrible. And I'll tell you exactly how that manifested itself. I sat on a hay bale at a festival. I just had a big weed brownie with my mate Dan, and he said, "How's business?" And I opened my mouth to say, oh, it's all good. And what came out of my mouth was, I've never felt so trapped in my life. And that moment right there was the start of the crash. And I know it was because I just worked myself right up to that point. And there's only one place to go after that. So, has that been useful? And it's given you a lot to kind of, the things that I would look at actioning are looking at processes, go through it, really know what my goals are. Have I got a kind of, did I read what Rich said about Gen X? Yes, fine. Then you start move down that road. Opportunities, have I got my processes in place? Do I have my vision and values kind of down? Have I created my commandments, if you like? Then tribe, Might be a step too far for you right now, but start thinking about it. If I was going to shift that way, you've got a tribe of your own clients. You've got their phone numbers, you've got them contacted. You're going to win. And H, the harvest. Start to know your numbers. If you want to jump into my little group, it's a school group, it's not on social media. Scan it, jump in, and I'll see you on the other side. What did I say was so funny? I didn't expect that response from it.